Hi, Professor Innes here again. This is the week when you're going to be discussing free will within metaphysics, and as a philosopher, you won't be just discussing this as a metaphysician, as an abstract, maybe even peculiar concept, but you'll also be discussing in relation to everyday matters in your considerations in the big wide world. And we're certainly going to have to deal with free will as far as politics is concerned at the end of the course. And also we need to mention that we dealt with free will when it came to ethics and moral philosophy at the start of the course. All of these considerations need to have that understanding that free will has got to be proven. We as philosophers are somewhat concerned that people presume that we have free will, or presume that free will is with us in whatever way. But if it's just a presumption that we have it, or it's a wish that we should have free will, then we've got problems. Because without us actually having free will, then it's going to affect moral decisions. And within politics, when we talk about rights, well, there's no point in giving a person rights if they've got no free will in which to use these rights. So you think to yourself, we philosophers have got a big problem here, as with the rest of the big wide world, because free will might not be proven. If it's not proven, then again we've got big problems as far as ethics is concerned and politics is concerned. So we need to be careful about stating this thing called free will. In metaphysics, we deal with it as an abstraction because it's one of those intangible things that helps to explain this material matter, namely us, human beings, and what makes us different from the animal kingdom. And we even had this consideration within epistemology as well. In order to say that we know things, we've got to have a freedom to know things. We don't just pick things up and say that, oh, I know that. We've got to have the freedom of mind to actually know these things. So again, we've got problems within philosophy about free will and the need to actually prove its existence. So with that in mind, we go forward and we say to ourselves, right, okay, we need to show that free will exists, but straight away we've got a problem. The problem is that the determinists, mostly in the shape of the behaviorists as far as we're concerned, have got lots of evidence that we lack free will, that in fact everything is predetermined. And by predetermined, we don't mean fated. It means that there are causal factors causing us to do things. Fate is something which says things just happen. Here, we do actually say that things are caused. So in that way, the determinists, as you're going to find out with your discussion of determinism with the video, which is a strong, adamant expression of the determinism, and you've got the Holbach and other people like that in your texts, which argue that we don't possess freedom, we possess we're purely determined in our actions. With that said, therefore, that's the problem. If the determinists have got the better action, then all we can say is that I hope that at the end of this we do have free will. But you can't just hope free will and then it turns up. You've got to prove it to be the case. And like we said, if the determinists have got better proof than our view of free will, then it looks like we don't have free will. So we've got those big problems. So keep that in mind when reading through the different arguments, that if the determinists have got better evidence, then you have to accept that we don't have free will. If you want to put forward an argument we have free will, you've got to find that proof. It's as simple as that. Jean-Paul Sartre, at the end of the discussion here, does put forward a good point in defense of free will, in the sense that two points may be determined, namely with the student. I think he uses this example, who thinks that he should go and fight on the side of the Allies during the Second World War, or he should not go and fight on the side of the Allies. during the Second World War. Both points would be determined by action, but nonetheless, choosing either one, either to fight or not fight, was the student's choice. Therefore, that shows freedom. So we might, at the end of it, have a compromise and say, yes, factors are determined, but we still choose. Well, that sounds reasonable, but still, at the same time, these factors are determined. You think to yourself, does that mean I have a bit of free will? I'm half free willed? Because that doesn't make sense either. So my actions are predetermined by causal factors, therefore freedom is positioned upon determined factors. Again, that doesn't sound doesn't sound right, does it? It sounds paradoxical that in order for me to be free, I've got to have my choices determined for me. There you are as a philosopher thinking, oh, this is not making sense for me at all, and I don't want to discuss this anymore. But unfortunately, you have to do so for this part of the course and have that understanding that free will is a bit of a nightmare as far as you're concerned. So, therefore, keep that in mind when thinking and discussing free will. It looks like the determinists have a better argument, but we'll do our best to find something which resembles free will. Okay, hopefully that bit of a discussion helped. Let me know if you've got any questions. Right, before I go, there was a bit of a mess. Well, I either for whatever reason I did not write down the replies for the journal entries for the week before spring break. So therefore, all I've done here is given you the full credit. And I've put down the post I should have put down there for you in reply. So by all means, read it through and think about the things I have written. Make a reply if you like, but because the time has passed, you've got the credit anyway. Sorry about that. I must have thought I remembered making the posts. That's an epistemological problem, I guess. So we remembering things, but when do we remember them from? I remember doing it. Maybe I remembered doing it a couple of weeks ago. I don't know. But anyway, I didn't do it. So that's the problem there with the journal. But I will endeavour to remember this week. I'm pretty sure I'll be fixed upon making sure I do reply to those journal entries this week. But either way, you've got the credit for it, and the post is there for you to read through it, and you may, for your own benefit, write down a reply to that post I made. Okay, apart from that, I think everything's going well. If it's not, let me know, please. Again, back to that free will thing. Be careful, again, just because you like the idea of free will doesn't mean that it exists. It looks like the determinists have got a better argument, so be careful here. Don't allow beliefs, wants, desires to get in the way of what is true. Namely, that maybe there is no free will at all. We're deluding ourselves that we possess free will. Okay, right, have that as a good discussion here. So, I'll speak to you this week on the journal entries. So have a nice start of the week. Thank you. Speak to you later.